let's take a look at the OTA or over-the-air updates page. On the left side here, you'll see that we have two types of OTAs. There's firmware and configurations. First, we're going to take a look at firmware. Firmware updates are necessary when Whelen launches a new feature that we need to have a firmware update for, but can also help when troubleshooting and fixing bugs that we discover in the field, and new firmware can address those. Without Whelen Cloud Platform, in order to update the firmware of Whelen equipment, you would have to bring that vehicle out of service, into the shop, and connect a USB into it. From there, you would use our command software and you would push that update out. It works well, but we think there's a more efficient way to do it. With Whelen Cloud Platform and the two-way communication to and from a vehicle, we are able to push these updates really with the click of a button. So whether that's a feature release or a potential bug fix, we are able to increase efficiency when it comes to pushing out these firmware updates to a level that we really haven't seen before. On the page, we're able to filter firmware updates either by device, where there's a new light bar update. We can see all of the vehicles in your fleet that have that specific light bar on it, and we're able to push those out. But we could also look by vehicle. When looking by vehicle, the example here is really you have a vehicle in for service or a new vehicle that's being built, and you don't care about the rest of those. You just want to see what firmware is necessary for that vehicle and its current build. By looking at it by vehicle, it will populate an entire list of the vehicles within your fleet, as well as all of the devices on those vehicles that either have current firmware or need an update. You will notice a green check mark on all of the vehicles that are completely up to date. In this example, 19 of 19 Whelen devices have updated firmware there. For the vehicles that don't have that, we're able to show you how many are actually up to date and how many are missing that. Let's take a look at one of the vehicles that does have an update that we need to push. On this page, we're able to tell that we're doing a good job, right? There's 24 devices on this vehicle, and at the moment, 23 of those are updated. But down here at the bottom, we see that the vehicle safety gateway, essentially the modem that powers Whelen Cloud Platform, actually has a new firmware update. In this example, this is gray. We are unable to push this right now. And the reason for that is there's two parameters that need to be met in order to push an update through Whelen Cloud Platform. The first is that that vehicle is online, right? We have a connection, the vehicle is currently running. But the second would be that the vehicle is not responding. The goal here is that we would never interrupt a vehicle that's currently responding. So if a vehicle is, we do not allow that, and this would also be grayed out then. Next time this vehicle comes online, this firmware update will actually download, and we would be able to push that, again, once it's online and not responding. Now let's take a look at the configuration side of the OTA update feature within Whelen Cloud Platform. Configurations are essentially a set of instructions that are pre-programmed that tell our equipment what to do in certain states, whether that's daytime, nighttime, park, drive. Our CenCom Core system is able to provide intelligent control based off of the status of the vehicle and different kind of parameters that are set on how the vehicle functions. If a configuration change is ever needed, whether that's to change a specific flash pattern at nighttime or potentially activate geofence controlled tech around intersections through Whelen Cloud, the change to the configuration is really easier than it's ever been before. Traditionally, a vehicle would have to come in out of service, we would plug into the core, extract the configuration that's currently running, and make the change. While that worked, we believe there's a more efficient way to do so. So in the configuration update page within Whelen Cloud Platform, we are able to make those changes kind of behind the scenes and then come in and assign it to specific vehicles that are Whelen Cloud Platform equipped and push it to that vehicle without ever taking it out of service, truly with just a couple of clicks. Once you've made the changes to the configuration, you're able to come into the OTA configuration library in Whelen Cloud Platform and upload that. From here, the configuration is now on Whelen Cloud Platform, and you can go through and assign that to specific vehicles or groups of vehicles that you want to make those changes to. After the configuration has been assigned to a vehicle, we would come into the configuration OTA page, and we will see essentially the jobs that are scheduled or the updates that are pending on these. So, just like firmware OTA, we have green showing that configurations have been pushed, but here we have a vehicle that has not. When we go into the View Details page, we'd be able to tell that this configuration is actually ready to update, but the grayed out Update Now box shows us that this vehicle is currently offline. And remember, there's two parameters that have to be met in order to push an update through Whelen Cloud Platform, and that is that the vehicle has to be online, an active connection, but it also cannot be responding. So in an event that the vehicle is online and not responding, this Update Now box would be black, and we'd be able to push that update with just a simple click.